Have participants on there.
At the moment, but that's probably going to change significantly.
Have participants on there.
Okay, how many on? We're live.
I heard an echo. Okay. Allahu Akbar, dear friends, God is most glorious. Welcome to the Sunday morning devotional program sponsored by the Spiritual Assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb County and Sandy Springs, Georgia. So wonderful to have all of you with us today. You know, across the globe, the teachings of the Baha'i faith brought to us more than 150 years ago by His Holiness Baha'u'llah, its founder, and whose name in Arabic means the glory of God. His teachings have inspired and continue to inspire individuals and communities as they strive to improve their own lives and contribute to the advancement of civilization. Baha'i beliefs address such essential themes as the oneness of God and religion, the oneness of humanity and freedom from all forms of prejudice, the inherent nobility of the human being, the progressive revelation of religious truth, gradual unfolding of God's purpose with the appearance of each divine teacher, the development of spiritual qualities which allows us to reflect the image God made us in, the integration of worship and service with work performed in the spirit of service actually being accounted as worship in the eyes of God, the fundamental equality of the sexes more widely evidenced in a setting of equal opportunity, the harmony between religion and science as an established fact, the centrality of justice in all human endeavor, the importance of education, particularly for children, and the dynamics of the relationships that strive to bind together individuals, communities, and institutions as humanity advances towards its collective maturity. Friends, we've been having some amazing programs every week, and today is no different. We're pleased to have you join us. Again, welcome. We'll begin with opening devotions. Please silence any electronic devices if you are speaking and mute yourselves if you are not speaking. Thank you. Kathy?
I adjure thee by thy might, O my God. Let no harm beset me in times of tests, and in moments of heedlessness, guide my steps aright through thine inspiration. Thou art God. Potent art thou to do what thou desirest. No one can withstand thy will or thwart thy purpose. The Bab.
Thank you, Kathy. Elizabeth?
Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul, and thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, my heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love. I solemnly declare that my life and death are both for thee. Verily, thou art incomparable and hast no partner. O my Lord, I beg thee to forgive me for shutting myself out from thee. By thy glory and majesty, I have failed befittingly recognize thee and to worship thee. While thou didst make thyself known unto me, and callest me to remembrance, as beseemeth thy station. Grievous woe would betide me, O my Lord, wert thou to take hold of me by reason of my misdeeds and trespasses. None among thy creatures can dare to intercede with thyself without thy leave. I hold fast to thy love before thy court, and according to thy bidding, I earnestly pray unto thee, as befitteth thy glory. I beg thee to heed my call, as thou hast promised me. Verily thou art God. No God is there but thee. Alone and unaided, thou art independent of all created things. Neither can the devotion of thy lovers profit thee, nor the evildoers of the faithless harm thee. Verily thou art my God, he who will never fail in his promise. O my God, I beseech thee, by the evidences of thy favor, to let me draw nigh to the sublime heights of thy holy presence, and protect me from inclining myself toward the subtle illusions of aught else but thee. Guide my steps, O my God, unto that which is acceptable and pleasing to thee. Shield me through thy might from the fury of thy wrath and chastisement, and hold me back from entering habitations not desired by thee. The Bab.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Barbara McClendon. Barbara, unmute yourself.
Excuse me. I have wakened in thy shelter, O my God, and it becomes him that seeketh that shelter, to abide within the sanctuary of thy protection and the stronghold of thy defense. Illume my inner being, O my Lord, with the splendors of the dayspring of thy revelation, even as thou didst illume my outer being with the morning light of thy favor. Baha'i.
Thank you, Barbara. Uda.
O my God, thou seest me in my lowliness and weakness, occupied with the greatest undertaking, determined to raise thy word among the masses and to spread thy teachings among thy peoples. How can I succeed unless thou assist me with the breath of the Holy Spirit? Help me to triumph by the hosts of thy glorious kingdom, and shower upon me thy confirmations, which alone can change a gnat into an eagle, a drop of water into rivers and seas, and an atom into lights and suns. O my Lord, assist me with thy triumphant and effective might, so that my tongue may utter thy praises and attributes among all people, and my soul overflow with the wine of thy love and knowledge. Thou art the omnipotent and the doer of whatever thou willest. Abdul Baha.
Thank you, Uda. O my God, verily I invoke thee and supplicate before thy threshold, asking thee that all thy mercies may descend upon these souls. Specialize them for thy favor and thy truth. O Lord, unite and bind together the hearts, join in accord all the souls, and exhilarate the spirits through the signs of thy sanctity and oneness. O Lord, make these faces radiant through the light of thy oneness. Strengthen the loins of thy servants in the service of thy kingdom. O Lord, thou possessor of infinite mercy, O Lord of forgiveness and pardon, forgive our sins, pardon our shortcomings, and cause us to turn to the kingdom of thy clemency, invoking the kingdom of might and power, humble at thy shrine and submissive before the glory of thine evidences. O Lord God, make us as waves of the sea, as flowers of the garden, united, agreed through the bounties of thy love. O Lord, dilate the breasts through the signs of thy oneness, and make all mankind as stars shining from the same height of glory, as perfect fruits growing upon thy tree of life. Verily, thou art the Almighty, the self-subsistent, the giver, the forgiving, the pardoner, the omniscient, the one creator. Abdul Baha. Kathy?
O my brother, hearken to the delightsome words of my honeyed tongue, and quaff the stream of mystic holiness from my sugar-shedding lips. Sow the seeds of my divine wisdom in the pure soul of thy heart, and water them with the water of certitude, that the hyacinth of my knowledge and wisdom may spring up fresh and green in the sacred city of thy heart. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Kathy. Elizabeth?
Justice is in this day bewailing its plight, and equity groaneth beneath the yoke of oppression. The thick clouds of tyranny have darkened the face of the earth and enveloped its people. Through thy movement, through the movement of our pen of glory, we have at the bidding of the omnipotent ordainer, breathed a new life into every human frame and instilled into every word a fresh potency. All created things proclaim the evidences of this worldwide regeneration. This is the most great, the most joyful tidings imparted by the pen of this wronged one to mankind. Wherefore fear ye, O my well-beloved ones? Who is it that can dismay you? A touch of moisture sufficeth to dissolve the hardened clay out of which this perverse generation is molded. The mere act of your gathering together is enough to scatter the forces of these vain and worthless people. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Barbara McClendon?
When you love a member of your family or compatriot, let it be with the ray of the infinite love. Let it be in God and for God. Wherever you find the attributes of God, love that person, whether he be of your family or of another. Shed the light of a boundless love on every human being whom you meet, whether of your country, your race, your political party, or of any other nation, color, or shade, of political opinion. Heaven will support you while you work in this ingathering of the scattered peoples of the world beneath the shadow of the almighty tent of unity. Abdul Baha.
Thank you, Barbara. Uda?
The creative energies mysteriously generated by the first stirring of the embryonic world order of Baha'u'llah have, as soon as released within a national destiny, within a nation destined to become its cradle and companion, its cradle and champion, endowed that nation with the worthiness and invested it with the power and capacities and equipped it spiritually to play the part of foreshadowed in these prophetic words. The potencies which this God-given mission has infused into its people are, on the one hand, beginning to be manifested through the conscious efforts and the nationwide accomplishments in both the teaching and administrative spheres of Baha'i activity, of the organized community, and of the followers of Baha'u'llah in the North American continent. These same potencies, apart from yet collateral with these efforts and accomplishments, are, on the one hand, insensibly shaping, under the impact of the world political and economic forces, the destiny of that nation, and are influencing the lives and actions of both its government and its people.
Thank you, Uda. And that concludes the devotional portion. We will have a healing prayer, which will be read this morning. And not just, Kathy, would you like to read it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I sing it?
That would be even better. Thank you.
Okay. Thy name is my healing, oh my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing, and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Baha'u'llah.
Thank you, Kathy. That was so beautiful. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, friends. This morning's program is going to be comprised of music and poetry. So we're going to forego the usual musical presentation and move right on to our speaker. As you already know, we are blessed to have with us Brenda Scott. Every week we have someone who comes and they share with us their insights on a particular topic. And this week, Ms. Brenda Scott, who has been a member of the Baha'i Faith since 1972 and she tells us that she entered the faith by way of the Valley of Search. The Valley of Search being the first of 7 valleys in the book entitled The 7 Valleys and the 4 Valleys, a truly mystical writing of Baha'u'llah, which states, "The true seeker hunteth naught but the object of his quest, and the lover hath no desire save union with his beloved. Nor shall the seeker reach his goal unless he sacrifice all things. That is, whatever he hath seen and heard and understood, all must he set at naught, that he may enter the realm of the spirit, which is the city of God." That would be Miss Brenda. She is currently enrolled at Columbus State University as a fine arts and communication major. Go Brenda. The mother of 6 and grandmother of many, we are pleased to have her share with us this morning on the following topic: the dwelling place of God, poetry and music based upon the Baha'i writings. Friends, please welcome Miss Brenda Scott.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say good morning again. And I want to thank the Softacal Baha'i community for inviting me and allowing me to share whatever contributions that I have in the teachings of this wondrous, glorious revelation of Baha'u'llah. The writings encourage sharings of one's personal experiences to connect the hearts with each other. And that's what I intend to do today, is to take you on my journey. My thoughts were all over the place, so I decided to use my poetry and music. Shoghi Effendi stated that art can better awaken such noble sentiments than cold rationalization. The spread of the spirit of Baha'u'llah in a new era will dawn in art and literature and arouse the interest in the spirit of the cause. The writings has allowed and encouraged the artists, the musicians, and the poets to use their talents and skills to create stories and music to promote the teachings of Baha'u'llah's message. It is permissible to use selections from holy writings as lyrics to be accompanied by musical compositions and to repeat verses or words. A composer is free to determine the musical style, bearing in mind the spiritual obligation to treat the sacred text with propriety, dignity, and reverence. We have made it lawful for you to listen to music and singing. Let your joy be joy born of my most great name, a name which brings rapture to the heart and fill with ecstasy the minds of all who have drawn nigh unto God. We verily have music as a letter to the soul. It is a means whereby they may be lifted up to the realms on high. Make it not, therefore, as wings to self and passion. I have to stop right here. Did have a picture up here. Okay, well, it's not going to come. I stopped right here to say this. Let me repeat that last verse that I read. We verily have music as a ladder to the soul, a means whereby they may be lifted up to the realms on high. Make it not, therefore, as wings to self and passion. A friend of mine once told me, "You love the sound of your voice, don't you?" I had to stop and think about why did this person say this to me. But actually, what I really loved is how the sacred text resonated within my heart and soul. And I wanted to make sure that I was not prostituting my art, which is an admonishment mentioned in the writings. These statements that I have read to you can be found in a compilation of the arts from the Universal House of Justice Research Department, based on the guidance of Baha'u'llah, Abdul-Baha, and Shoghi Effendi. And in a letter written to a local spiritual assembly dated July the 20th, 1946, Shoghi Effendi states that if music is written, incorporating the sacred writings, the friends are free to make use of it, but it should never be a requirement. The further away the friends keep from any sect forms, the better. They must realize that this cause is universal. As long as they have music for music's sake, it is all right, but it should not be considered Baha'i music. And so I began. In order to get to my topic, the dwelling place of the heart, I'm going to have to take you on a little journey, which some of you may find familiar. My Sunday church. My early years were during the time of segregation, just a fancy word meaning separation. And St. James Disciples Church was my place of preparation. On each corner of the town, there were so many houses of worship competing one with the others, trying to save the souls of their sisters and brothers. For the Black churches, there was Aunt Nana's Methodist, Miss Tweet's Baptist, Sister Boer's Holiness, and Reverend Price's House of the Lord. And if you wanted to get to heaven, you had to get on board. I better not stop at that white Catholic church on any given Sunday, where they confessed their sins to the priest. There was just no other way. Now there was the big white folks church, where all the politicians belong. They employed our mothers as babysitters and maids to raise their children and were always underpaid. Now, when someone died, the separation continued. The whites were buried on top of the hill, beautiful lawns green, while the Blacks were buried way back in the woods as if they weren't to be seen. Now, even with my young mind, I had so many questions about this separation. After all, there was only one Bible, one Jesus. It must have been miscommunication, or was it interpretation? So faithfully, every first Sunday, I went to St. James, where Reverend James preached that Jesus was coming back again, but only to the true Christians. So who were the true Christians? I really wanted to know, but it would be years before I found the answer, years that I had to grow. Second Sunday was Miss Tweet's Baptist. Third Sunday was Aunt Nana's turn, and Sister Boer, she had church every Sunday, each with a different set of rituals claiming salvation true. Oh, yes, I had plenty of questions about the Jews, none of which I knew. The Catholics and all those not Baptists like me, who found it easy to separate themselves on Sunday while praying on bended knee. For I can clearly hear Reverend James preaching, you can't get to heaven with 99 and a half. So who, pray tell, was on the right path? Everyone with no exception preached heaven and hell, put the fear of God in you like a magical spell. I began to wonder that as God was my Father and He loved me so, He knew I'd never be perfect. How could He be so judgmental and banish me to hell's fire below? The Lord's Prayer said God's will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. And it was addressed to our Father, not yours nor mine. Was this a clear indication of unity, a clear sign? As a child, I wondered why we worship one true God that belonged to all of us apart. How could we build God's kingdom on earth unless we did it together and made a new start? I wondered if my grandmother Lola had waited for Jesus to come back again. Did she have questions like me, wondering, when, God, when? And who was going to heaven? The Baptist, Methodist, the holiness too? For in that time, I had no knowledge of the Buddhists and Hindu, nor the Zoroastrians, Muslims, and a little about the Jew. Why did I feel that the whole story hadn't been told? Whose prayers were being answered? And who would have the last say? And my little heart kept telling me, it ain't supposed to be this way. So those thoughts brought into mind this song that I started singing within my heart over the years. And it is from the old scriptures. Lead me and guide me along the way. For if you lead me, oh, I cannot stray. Lord, let me walk each day with thee. Oh, lead me and guide me all through the day. I am lost if you take your hand from me, Lord. I am blind without your light to see, Oh, Lord, for me, your servant, I'll be. Lead me and guide me all along the way. Lord, if you lead me, oh, I cannot stray. Lord, let me walk mine that I used to sing after listening to the mothers of the church. A few years later, on down the road, when I had my children and was married at the time, this is what happened. And I will tell you about that in a poem. And this poem is called The Book. He handed me a book, being quite polite. A mystery, he said, the title, Thief in the Night. Unsure but curious, my reading had begun. I was asked to be a detective and help solve the case of the missing millennium. How can I explain the mysteries that began to unfold? All those questions from my youth were being answered within my soul. I had learned that biblical scholars had calculated Christ's return around the year 1844, and that all the prophecies had been fulfilled. And there was much, much more. But guess what? The masses missed it again, just as before. Page after page, I learned of a gentle youth who was stripped of his life just for telling the truth. Just like John the Baptist, who announced the coming of Christ, this youth, given the title of the Bab, meaning the gate, came to announce the coming of the one we all await. His message was that, as promised in all the scriptures, the promised one had come, and that on this earth, God's will shall be done. The one he spoke of, Baha'i, meaning the glory of God, yes, a new name. The fulfillment of all the prophecies was his claim. Baha'u'llah's claim was miraculous and bold indeed. But after 2,000 years, wasn't it time? Wasn't it a need? Christ would return while most of the world is asleep in their graves of ignorance. For he said, like a thief in the night. The clouds overshadowing their vision knee deep. I pray that he who hears will awaken from his sleep and see the dawning of this new day. Partake of the new bread, get intoxicated with the wine of astonishment, and dive into the ocean of his words. Now, after reading that book, this song popped in my head, and I'm going to improvise on it a little bit. Hope I got the right music. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Gone are the obstacles that were in my way. I can see clearly now. Gone are the dark clouds that held me blind. I can see clearly now. Here comes the rainbow I've been praying for. The promised one has come. Here comes the rainbow I've been praying for. The promised one has come. The promised Gone are the dark clouds that held me blind. I can see clearly, clearly, clearly. I can see clearly now. Now, maybe I can get to my topic, the dwelling place, but I had to take you on a journey to get there. My notes. I looked back over those questions that I had as a child and realized that I had indeed stepped into the valley of search. And after going through the valley of church, I landed over in the valley of love. Dr. Sarab Karash, that gave a talk at the Wilmette Institute about the seven valleys, said that once you get past these first two valleys, it's downhill from there. And I believe that. I really believe that, because once you get into the valley of love, and I'm told that this valley has the sting of pain. When you love someone, you can't get enough of that person. You can't get enough of that person. You're searching everywhere for that person. So this is the valley that brings pain. But once you get past the first two valleys, I truly believe that it's downhill from there. Some of the hidden words, let me find them. Because I'm going to get into the dwelling place of the heart. How many of you know what the dwelling place of God is? Just raise your hand. One person? Ooh, well, I came at the right time, right? The dwelling place of God is the heart. The seeker, this is from the tablet of the seeker that can be found in the Katabi Agan. The seeker cannot acquire knowledge on his own. The divine message is directed towards the heart and is passed from one heart to another. The illumined heart of another must be experienced by the seeker before his own heart can be enlightened. That's deep. What I see from this passage is that the seeker that's seeking the truth must see the love of God in your heart before his own heart can be attracted to you. Baha'i says a stainless heart, that is a heart with pure motives, is the realm where the search for gems is conducted. In the Katabi Agan, it says the water used to cleanse the heart is the word of God. The heart must be prepared before it can provide lodging for divine mysteries. We can get a lot of dust in the heart, like preconceptions, pride and glory, fanciful ideas with no reality and knowledge. Which brings me to my next song that I put to music from the hidden words. Bear with me. When you're on a keyboard, you have to change the music. Let's see. Let me see what come up. Not sure. Music is. No, this doesn't look right. No, we don't want to do country. But keep in mind from the readings that it says that there's no set form of music. What touches one person's heart may not touch another person's heart. That's why we have unity and diversity in this faith. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get that song, so I'll get the one that I can get. It worked perfectly well when I was practicing. Now this is a song that I wrote based on the topic that I was trying to present to you today. Doesn't sound like the right music. Let's see. My heart is the dwelling place of God. I must keep it clean so that it can come in. There's no room for hatred. There's no room for prejudice. There's no room for injustice in God's heart. My heart is the dwelling place of God. I must keep it clean so that He can come in. Every day, every hour, every minute, every second, I must keep it clean. My eyes, my mouth, my hands, my arms, my legs, my feet cannot do the work of God unless He lives in my heart. My heart is the dwelling place of God. I must kill the clean so that he can come in. There's no room for envy. There's no room for jealousy. There's no room, no room in this heart. My heart, my heart, my heart is the dwelling place of God. From the hidden words, Baha'i says, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart, that thou mayest be worthy to meet me and to mirror forth my beauty. The heart will radiate its light that will attract the souls of man. O Son of Spirit, my claim on thee is great. It cannot be forgotten. My grace to thee is plenteous. It cannot be veiled. My love has made in thee its home. It cannot be concealed. My light is manifest in thee. It cannot be obscured. O Son of Being, thy heart is my home. Sanctify it for my descent. Thy spirit is my place of revelation. Cleanse it for my manifestation. The first hidden word, and I tell my friends that are asking questions about the faith, they ask us, do we have commandments? And I always refer them to the hidden words. The first hidden words say, O Son of Spirit, my first counsel is this: possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart. That was one of the songs that I was going to sing, but I can't find my paper with the music. So, one last thing I want to share with you is a story that I learned in my art history class at Columbus State. I had all the slides. I couldn't get to them. Hear me on my PowerPoint presentation. So I'm just talking. This is a story about the pharaohs that ruled Egypt back in the day. Each time a pharaoh died, but before he died, he prepared this elaborate tomb to be buried in. They took food in there and housing and everything that they felt like the pharaoh would need in the afterlife. So when the pharaoh died, they prepared his body by cutting out all of his organs and placing them in special jars. The only organ that they did not prepare was the brain. They call it the useless brain. They said man thinks through his heart. He would not need it on the other side. So the god of death would take the pharaoh through the underground. He would have the jar in the heart. He would place the jar on a scale and weigh it against a feather. If the heart weighed less than the feather, That means that he was a good Pharaoh and ruled his country with spare to his countrymen. And therefore he could live eternally with the sun god Osiris. I thought that was a beautiful story, and I got to tell it at my sister's funeral because the heart is the most important. What we put in our hearts, according to the teachings of Baha'i, these are not my words. These are from Baha'i that I want to share with you. But learning this story in art history, the teacher did not elaborate on a spiritual meaning on it. It was just part of the history lesson. But I thought about it. When you meet people, sometimes people are labeled. You would say things like, here come Mary, she got a good heart. Oh, here come old bleeding heart Susan. Oh, here come Brenda with her heavy heart. Uh, oh, Susan has a loving heart. So the heart has several names that we label it. One of the verses that I read that we cannot attract others to this enlightenment unless our light is shining, unless our light is radiating. So what we fill our hearts with is what we are taking to the other side, to the Abha kingdom. I don't have anything else. I did have a couple of more songs, but I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to spend a lot of time to get the music. So if you have any questions about this presentation, about any of the readings, ask away.
Well, Ms. Brenda, thank you so much. Music is definitely a ladder to the soul, especially when done with, as you said, propriety, dignity, and reverence, which you most certainly did. Thank you, dear Brenda, for uplifting our souls through your inspiring music and poetry, and for sharing your spiritual journey with us. Well done, dear sister. Thank you so much. Now, friends, if you do have any questions or comments for Brenda about her music, about her poetry, about any of the writings that she shared, please ask now. I think they're all enthralled by what you presented. Maybe take a moment to think.
I have a question. It's Barbara Taylor.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Actually, it's not even a question, Brenda. It's just I want to say how delightful your presentation was. Your voice is more beautiful than ever, and I love your poetry. And I just wanted to express my appreciation to you. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I want to ditto on that. Thank you for coming in and letting hear part of your journey. And it does relate to part of mine, is to how curious we are and how we find Baha'u'llah. So thank you again for coming. And I'm going to have to leave. I have to prepare for LSA meeting, but I did want to at least get to part of this devotion as much as I can. So all have a blessed day. Allow a happy Valentine's Day.
Same, and thank you.
Hi, Brenda. This is Reggie Colbert and Natalie. Can you hear me, Brenda?
Not really. In fact, the sound has been extremely low for everybody.
Okay, is this better? I just wanted to say thank you. I really enjoyed your music and your poetry, and obviously a whole lot of time in preparation for your talk today. So thank you, and good luck in your studies at Columbus College.
Okay, who was this? I didn't get the name.
This is Reggie.
Hey,
Reggie Colbert.
Reggie.
Hey. Hey.
And Natalie.
And
yes, I'm here too, Brenda. It was really, really nice.
Really nice. So thank you so much.
I wanted to add, because I need to emphasize this. Even Shoghi Effendi said in 1946, he said that, our devotionalists shouldn't be rigid, rather we should, music will help. But we have to keep in mind also our audience. If you notice, a lot of my music had a bluesy feel to it because I grew up in the Christian church, and that's the main thing I miss from devotional service is the choir. I want to tell Reggie and Reggie, are you still there?
I'm here.
I want to tell you that when I acquired this band, I went to Goodwill and bought me a keyboard, and then I bought me a self-teaching. So I taught because that's how much I love music.
Right.
I miss the music. So I do, I write the music, write the melody, starting out with one chord, the C chord. Now I'm up to the A minor and the B flat.
Oh, wow.
Change it around a little bit, but I have written almost 100 songs, and I do have a YouTube channel with a lot of the songs from the writings, from the prayers put to music. My favorite, which I wanted to do for you today, oh my God, was Broken Wing Bird.
Wow.
I presented that on my Facebook page. But putting the music, like I said, one of my friends once told me, you love the sound of your voice. No, it's not the sound of my voice. It's the words of God that resonates in my heart. And all of us hear them in different ways. That's why there's a diversity within our community. We hear the prayers in different ways. And whatever ways we hear, it resonates in our hearts. And since I've been posting music on Facebook, I've been invited to two spiritual assemblies, one in Oregon and one in South Carolina, to present. Maybe I'll get it right with my, going from one music song to the next, but it was kind of difficult. I did have it, but I couldn't get my Bluetooth on and talk at the same time.
No, your technology was good this morning.
Yeah, it was great.
I just want to say, obviously, the music came from the African diaspora. I mean, that's our culture. That's your culture. That's what you're familiar with, and that's what's so beautiful about what you're doing. And now that you're, in school and learning more about the technology and learning more about musical composition, it shows. And your voice.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that encouragement.
Yeah, it's just really beautiful.
Hi, this is Leah. I've been trying to raise my hand. I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I put raise my hand in the chat, but I guess nobody saw it. But I just want to say to my spirit God, mommy, I think it is ingenious how you are able to take song and poetry and music and incorporate it into a presentation. That is that is no easy task. So I just think it was ingenious the way you did it. You did it with such grace. You did it with all the love from your heart, that you could muster. And we appreciate it so much. I do. I appreciate it so much. And I just wanted to thank you. And I'm going to be, I have a devotional. I was a little late today because I have my own devotional in the morning, and we have more Christians now than we do Baha'is. And I want to be able to direct them to your presentation today, because we are going to be studying or reading Thief in the Night together. And you made reference to that in your presentation today. And I want them to be able to see your presentation. So I'm going to send them to the link and brag on you a little bit about who you are and how you my spiritual God, mommy. And, and I just want to thank you so much. And it's good to see your face this morning and all the faces.
Thank you. Are you still here?
I am here. I am still waiting for my visa. They closed the consulate right in the process of processing my visa. So I'm still waiting, but I've been very busy and finding time to do all of the things that I needed to do administratively. And but yes, I'm still around.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, I don't know if you can hear me.
I hear you, Elizabeth.
I just wanted to thank you so much for this outstanding program. I remember your singing in the choir and how much you enjoyed that. And I remember that your home was a work of art in itself. And I see you here this morning, and you literally are coordinated. You're color coordinated with your wonderful art, your white headband, your white shirt, your, I guess that's maroon sweater, and the gray couch that all matches. Very coordinated. That's you. You're just art itself. And I don't even know if you can really hear me, but I loved your poetry. It was outstanding, and it ought to be published.
Yeah,
So you think about that. Okay. And thank you so much again.
Myself, on the back of it, I wrote, these poems in this book are a collection of thoughts inspired by the teachings of the Baha'i faith. My desire is that the words dance in your heart and soul, for they were written out of love for all of mankind. And all the illustrations were done by me.
Yeah,
That's beautiful, Brenda.
Yes, it is. Very beautiful.
Anyone else have any comments or feelings that they would like to express about Brenda's awesome presentation today?
Hi, this is Donna Simmons. And Brenda, I have a 2-year-old over here. So I've been kind of in and out. I could only hear a portion of what you presented, but I really liked the format that you used. I appreciate you using all your creativity and enthusiasm in that presentation. I really enjoyed it. And like you, I also missed having the choir perform, even though I'm on the other side of town and hardly ever got over there, but still, the choir was a wonderful thing. So you're carrying the choir on in spirit within your presentation.
Thank you.
Hi, Nat and Reggie, if you're still there.
We're here, Donna. Hey.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I can't see you though.
But I know.
Any other remarks?
Hey. Reggie's on another call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good to see you, Nat.
Yeah.
Brenda, was there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
I don't know.
Share another poem.
My first castle is this. My first castle is this. Princess of you. Carry a radiant heart that I may be a sovereignty angel imperishable and everlasting. Son of sin, my first counsel is this. My first counsel is this. Presence of you, holy and radiant heart, that I may be sovereignty angel, imperishable and everlasting. Oh, son of being, oh, son of being, oh, son of being, possess of pure, kindly, pure and kindly, oh, pure and kindly, radiant, radiant, That's what I want to end with. Possess a pure, kindly, and radiant heart so that we can attract the souls of men.
That was just beautiful. Beautiful. Loved it. Loved it. Thank you, dear Brenda. Well, let's see. If there are no more comments, friends, then we're gonna go ahead and I don't know if we have any guests with us today. If you are a guest in the community or former member of the community and returning, regardless of how many times you've been back here, please feel free to share where you're from, how you happen to be with us today. We'll wait a second for that. And if not, we will go ahead with a couple of announcements. First of all, to let you know our next speakers for next week on the 21st, we have Ms. Carrie Murphy. And then on the 28th, the week after that, Dr. Iraj Khoradou will be back again. That'll be his third trip here since the resurrection. So please be sure to stop in for more outstanding presentations. You can watch for details that'll be coming out soon for those two. Okay. Oh, and don't forget that the food distribution program, which is usually every Thursday from 10 to 1 at the Baha'i Unity Center in the parking lot, it's been put on hold temporarily until the first Thursday in March. So just remember that. Don't send anybody over until then. Okay, and for members of the Baha'i Faith, you're warmly encouraged to make a financial contribution to the South DeKalb Baha'i Fund and the National Baha'i Funds. The National Baha'i Fund through the online contribution service at ocs.baha'i.us, or you can mail a check to the Baha'i Unity Center at 2370 Wesley Chapel Road, Decatur, Georgia 30035. At this time, then, we would like to say many thanks to all who worked together to make today's program possible. Our speaker, our wonderful speaker, presenter, Ms. Brenda Scott, our volunteer readers for today, thank you so much. And Barbara Hennix, who's keeping us moving forward, and the spiritual assemblies of the Baha'is of South DeKalb and Sandy Springs, Georgia. And thanks to all of you for sharing your day with us. I'm Hermione Pickens. It's been a pleasure. Until next time, stay safe and well. We will end now with a closing prayer for the departed. And you can remember in your hearts anyone that you wish to who is deceased.
Hermione, would you like to say that?
Sure. Is it going to come up on the screen or do I need to pick one?
Pick one.
Doing that now. Let's see. O thou forgiving Lord. Although some souls have spent the days of their lives in ignorance and became estranged and contumacious, yet with one wave from the ocean of thy forgiveness, all those encompassed by sin will be set free. Whomsoever thou willest, thou makest a confidant, and whosoever is not the object of thy choice is accounted a transgressor. Shouldst thou deal with us with thy justice, we are all naught but sinners, and deserving to be shut out from thee. But shouldst thou uphold mercy, every sinner would be made pure, and every stranger a friend. Bestow then thy forgiveness and pardon, and grant thy mercy unto all. Thou art the forgiver, the light giver, and the omnipotent. Abdul Baha. Friends, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Brenda, dear Brenda, for that presentation. Until next time, we love you. Stay safe and be well. Allah.